Hey everyone, Miss Folk here again, and we are back at it with these notes, but now we're going to be focusing on subtracting decimals rather than adding. So we already went through most of this first sheet together. The only thing we didn't go over was this bottom right-hand corner, and all that is giving us an example of subtracting decimals. So it's the same exact idea as adding. You're always going to align the decimal points of each number, okay? And once you do that, you're just going to subtract normally. So down here, they have an actual example that they worked out for you. Remember that word, find the difference. That just means you're subtracting, okay? But I will go ahead and let you guys look over that one, okay, on your own time. And we're going to do one quick problem together here, just so you have one example. And again, you are not using any calculators for these problems, okay? So if this was our example, we have 6 minus 3.452. So again, just like with adding, we want to make sure we have the same amount of numbers to the right of our decimal point. So with 3.452, we see that we have 3 numbers. And with this 6, we technically have 0 numbers after our decimal point, right? So we want to make sure that they both have 3 numbers after our decimal point. So that 6 is going to turn into 6.000. Now we have 3 numbers to the right of that decimal point, and we still have our 3 numbers to the right of that 3.452. Okay? Remember, anytime you add zeros to the right of a decimal point, you're never, or at the end of your number after a decimal point, you're never actually changing the value of that number. Okay? So again, we're going to line everything up vertically, and we're going to go ahead and solve normally now. So remember, if we have a number less than our number on the bottom row, we got to borrow, so that 0 is going to turn into a 10. These 2 zeros are going to turn into 9s, and that 6 is going to turn into 5. Remember, we have to keep going until we get a whole number that we can actually borrow from. Okay? So now that we have that, we have just our regular problem. 10 minus 2 over here to the right is 8. Okay? 9 minus 5 is just 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. Again, draw in your decimal point. I would actually draw that in first. Okay, draw first. I know I didn't do that. But again, just like with that addition, I think it's a good idea so you don't forget it in your final answer. And finally, we have 5 minus 3, which is 2. Okay? Now, just in case you're not confident with your answer, think about your fact families. You can always check your answer by taking what you just got, so that 2.548, and adding 3.452. And if we did everything correct, we should get 6.00. So again, if we go ahead and do that here, I'm just double checking, we do in fact get that 6.00. So we know that our that 2.548 is in fact our answer, okay? All right, so hopefully this should be a really simple lesson for you guys. I'm gonna suggest that you pause the video here, and I will go ahead and put the answers up in a second, but again, I would pause the video here and see if you can do these next 5 problems on your own. Okay, everyone, hopefully you actually took the time to pause the video. But here are the answers for 6 through 10. Now, the only one I really think you may have had some trouble on was number 10, and there's actually a bunch of different ways to go about solving for this. So what I chose to do was add up every single amount that he spent, so I could get my total amount spent. So this 76.30 down here, that's how much he spent altogether. And then what I did was I took how much he started with, so that 120, okay, that 120, and I subtracted that 76.30 from it. Again, you could go about this a couple of different ways. You could start with your 120 and just keep subtracting every time he spent. It's up to you, okay? And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out.